What a way to kick off afternoon trivia for the month of June. It was a history-making day. If you missed this one, I'm sorry you missed it, but we kicked things off today. We had 8 rounds of afternoon trivia today. Incredible time. We kicked things off 1981 song titles trivia. You know, I stuck with the script on this one. I only wrote out the first 5 genres and then sort of adjusted for the last 3. But the first one, 1981 song titles trivia, and it was Andy 8010 going with the sweep in this one, 5-0. The next one was men's French Open winners of men's French Open championships trivia. We had a little Jim Curry on there, a little Carlos Alcaraz, even a little Ivan Lendl on there. And pitching a perfect game was Andy 8010 going back-to-back, a perfecto. We then went with nursery rhymes trivia again. Back-to-back perfect games for Andy. An incredible start out of the gate, 3-0. And then Beatles song titles trivia. I thought Emmy was going to make some noise here. She was unable to. Andy warded her off with another sweep. His 4th straight sweep, not a perfecto, but his 4th straight sweep to begin June. And then history was made in the next round. Game 5, English idioms trivia. It was Andy 8010 with a sweep, a clean sweep, the 5th sweep in a row, extending during that round. He broke the record for the most consecutive unanswered points, breaking it with his 23rd consecutive unanswered point. That is the new afternoon trivia record. And he won the game 5-0. And then we went with name brands trivia. I think that's one we saw last night, actually. And then it was Andy 8010 with his 6th consecutive sweep. The record for consecutive sweeps is 9 in general trivia. I don't know what the consecutive sweep for afternoon trivia is. That might be a record too. If it's not, it at least ties it. That might be the record, boys. I'm not entirely sure on that. Maybe it's 7. Okay. In any case, we went with, I think that is a record too. I think that is a record for consecutive sweeps. 6 in a row. He went for 7 in the next round. 1973 song titles trivia. Cruising along up 4-0. And then the question was the Barbra Streisand song. Blank, blank. We were Andy 8010 with a typo, and the Cobra strikes and breaks the streak. There ain't gonna be no shutout. The streak comes to an end at 34 consecutive. That is the new official afternoon trivia record for the most consecutive points unanswered. 34. There was a Jeopardy ovation for that. And it was the Shawkinator, the Cobra, coming up and striking to snap the streak. The Cobra knows his Streisand. He's not ashamed of it. Just like he knows his Barry Manilow. Great job, Cobra. Hell of a job. That was the crowd went nuts even after the Jeopardy ovation. Shawkinator standing there applauding as well, like the class act that he is. Andy wins the round. He closes it out with a 5-1 victory. And then we went with name brands trivia. Again, this was a picked one. This is a choice one. To close it out, game 8. And Andy with a sweep in this one, 5-0. 7 sweeps on the day. A historic Hall of Fame afternoon trivia performance today. And that was unreal. It was near Don Larson on the day, with the exception of the Cobra base knock to straightaway center to keep Andy from having a perfect afternoon of trivia. But nonetheless, 8 victories in a row. You know, the record is 39 in afternoon trivia. The 8-game winning streak continues into general trivia. The record for that is 91, so a couple of streaks going there. Alex Zuber was in wire to wire today. Thanks for coming in, Alex Zuber. Andy 8010 with 8 wins. DPCX was also in. JG was in, and he started to talk a little bit towards the end, so we got a little chatter from JG. JHL was in. Mr. Met continuing, picking up right where he left off in May. 3 technicals, 1 shower visit, and a goose egg on the board for total points. The Shalkinator had a great moment in the sun, but snapping the streak coming out of nowhere in Game 7. So the Cobra was a hell of a job. Emmy was a surprise participant today in afternoon trivia. Thanks for coming in, Emmy. Thanks for coming in, PJ May, even though you were not there for very long. PJ May, he's been there before. And Stacy, in and out. Stacy, in and out. Abule came in at the very end with, like, I think Andy was up 3-0, so I got to add his name to it. Andy was up 3-0 in the final big cash prizes game. Abule comes in at the very end with his best duck meat impersonation of coming in at the very end. Hey, where's the trivia? And so, all right. So for those of you who didn't show up today, you only have yourself to blame for not being able to come in and keep Andy from having a historic day. Shalk had to do was the only one who could do it. So, all right, we'll see what happens next week. The big cash prizes was a new pick, the corn tortilla smash burger, going to Food Lion now. All right, guys, thanks for playing Afternoon Trivia. What an incredible start we had to the month of June. Oh yeah. All right, see you next time, possibly this week later on. All right, later.